Greetings and welcome to In-Depth. I'm Dike Rostant. How do we process pain and negative emotions? Do we try to fight fire with fire? Or as Obongjayar says, when the time's bitter, reach in deeper, find your sugar. Currline Cooper is finding her beauty in forming the Rio Claro Sporting and Leisure Foundation. She joins us now. Thank you for making the time, Ms. Cooper, to tell us about the work that you are doing. And before we actually get into the why, give us an idea, please, of what is the Rio Claro Sporting and Leisure Foundation doing in terms of your day-to-day activities?
Hi, thanks for having me. The Rio Claro Sporting and Leisure Foundation, first let me say, is a non-profit organization. It's registered under the NGO Act as well as the Companies Act of Trinidad and Tobago. The main purpose of the organization is to provide an avenue for the young, the not so young, to be involved in community-based activities, such as sporting and leisure-based activities, to act as a deterrent to crime and criminal activities, as well as provide appropriate solutions, including but not limited to those of a therapeutic nature, and a way station to help men and women come together to discuss any solution of a healing or recovery nature. We have a lot of sporting and leisure-based activities, sporting activities such as football and cricket training for the young persons to be involved in, as I said, to act as a deterrent to crime and criminal activities.
Now, I heard that there's young and not so young. So, you spoke about the sporting in terms of football and cricket. Tell me about some of the leisure, no?
Okay, some of the, well, under the leisure, we would have like therapeutic sessions, such as counseling sessions for, as I said, the not so young as well, too. So even though the sporting activities is mostly focused on the young, because we have a sport training camp for football and cricket for the ages 5 to 15 years old, currently going on in Rio Claro. And the leisure-based activities, we do like counseling sessions, therapeutic sessions for the older persons as well as the young who may be going through survivors or victims of abuse, or during COVID time, we did therapeutic sessions for persons who have lost loved ones to COVID-19. So those are some of the under the leisure-based activities that we get the grouping of members or community members or persons who are older to come together for sessions, group sessions as well.
Now, I'm hearing sporting, I'm hearing leisure, I'm hearing mental health, I'm hearing just bringing people, including people into feel a part of a grouping so that they feel as though they belong, especially if they've lost loved ones. Now, this seems as though it is something that is very involved, and it's not just as though you have one person or two people behind it. So who are some of the people involved making sure that all these aspects that are housed under the Rio Claro Sporting and Leisure Foundation work the way you want them to?
So we have a committed team of members with a licensed professional counselor, a certified clinical supervisor, an alcohol and drug counselor, as well as a retired sergeant from Tobago, because even though we are located in Rio Claro, we provide services throughout Trinidad and Tobago. We also have social workers on board, as myself. We have persons with studies in physical education, sport, criminology, psychology. We have a doctor on board as well, and 2 attorneys, to mention a few.
Now, I like the fact that there's so many people involved, and just the fact that you have these people who are involved in this from this professional level and they're being part of this makes me feel as though this is something that is really worthwhile. But with that said, though, who is Akeem and what is his significance to the formation of the Rio Claro Sporting and Leisure Foundation?
Okay, Akeem was my nephew, my 19-year-old nephew, who got killed in what the police described as in the wrong place at the wrong time in 2016. That was my nephew.
And definitely we understand what is going on at this point in time, and those emotions are still so there. But what some people do, they would try to seek vengeance. What some people do is do something that is less than positive. But you have taken that energy and poured it into the community, invested it into this foundation that honors his memory and takes us all forward. But turning that into something that is positive and progressive, how did the idea spark? What was the thing that said, let me do this instead?
Okay, so as I said, in 2016, I lost my nephew. And my nephew had loved football. He was always involved in community football, taking part in community football. That is something he had really loved. So in order to help keep that memory, I had a football kick-out in 2017, I think May 2017. And in order to keep that memory going, I thought about forming an organization, which the Rio Claro Sporting and Leisure Foundation came up, as well as the organization is to help persons and family, not to help them persons be involved in positive activities, the young and the youth persons to be involved in positive activities to help stay away from a life of crime and criminal activities.
But even going forward, and it's one thing to say, okay, well, because there's Rio Claro in the name, but like you said, you provide your services over Trinidad and Tobago. How does someone say, hey, I think I could do with some of the energy from this foundation? How do they reach out to you to access some of what you have to offer?
Okay, so we have our social media pages where we different contact on Facebook, Instagram. We have our WhatsApp number available as well too. And our page is very active as well too on social media. So persons normally reach out there, or they reach out through the contact number to get in contact with us on the social media page as well.
All right, and with that, we take a short break. We are speaking with Ms. Currline Cooper, the founder of the Rio Claro Sporting and Leisure Foundation. Stay with us. We return with more. Welcome back. We are discussing turning hurt and pain into something both positive and progressive. We're doing so with Ms. Currline Cooper, founder of the Rio Claro Sporting and Leisure Foundation. And I want to ask, because once again, there's so many people that just have latched on to this, Ms. Cooper. And is it a matter of you reaching out to them, or them saying, and you said the page is active, so is it a matter of them seeing what is on the page and saying that I want to be a part of this, how can I help? How does that go?
Yes, it's basically persons seeing what's on the page, seeing the different activities on the page, seeing what the organization is about, and they reaching out to us to want to be part of the organization. Because there are certain persons who have the same drive, who want to see better for society. So that's how they connect to us.
And with that in mind, talk to me a little bit about the virtual group, the virtual grief support group. Thank you. How does that take place?
Okay, so that was during COVID-19, so we weren't able to meet in person, face to face. So that is how it ended up being virtual, and so many persons were losing loved ones. So we were thinking about a way, the organization always tried to think about a way how we could help society, help persons in society to focus on positive instead of being depressed or turning to negative. So we were able to come up with the idea of having a virtual session, and had so many persons reaching out to be part of the virtual session. We also had one-on-one counseling out of the virtual session, group session, but the group session were able to help persons be there for each other, because they were able to share, like, even though there were individuals going through individual pain because for their loved ones, and they felt it different, they were all similar in a way that it was the loved one was lost through COVID-19. So they were able to relate in a way as well, be a support to each other during that period as well.
And looking at what it is you do and the activities that you have, the many activities that you have, and you said you're always trying to see how it is you can fill a gap or address a need that is there. Do people ask you or ask the organization through the pages and stuff, when you're going to have this? how about this idea? Or do you just look and see what people are saying and then put your ideas forward? What goes through the mind of the organization when they decide, okay, this is what we're going to do next?
Okay, well, sometimes it's looking at what's going on in society and seeing what somebody needs in society that we need to address in helping make society a better place, as well as sometimes persons may reach out to us, a few persons may reach out to us and say, but most of the time the persons reach out is because they have their individual needs as well. So needs such as for during closer to Christmas, so when we have our hamper drive, person may reach out and say they need a hamper, or closer to school time, and persons may reach out and say they need assistance with sending their children to school, so they need some kind of school supplies as well. But most of the times we look at society and see what are the needs of society.
And looking at the amount of individuals involved, and it seems as though you do so much yourself. Are you happy sometimes that there's so many people involved that can share this burden? Because sometimes I can even think about the possibility of it being so fresh, still so close to you, that there are other people who are able to take the burden and run with it as well, to make sure that everything is supposed to be going the way it's supposed to be with the foundation?
Yes, it's well, I'm also a social worker. One of the main things in social work they tell you is always do some kind of self-care. Self-care is very important, and it's really good having other members involved in such a wide variety of studies, and having other members involved on board, helping out, assisting, sharing our different ideas. It's very important for the group for others to be on board and helping and assisting with that. Although it's something that I went through personal, it had persons who could relate in a way of wanting better for society. Probably went through similar situation, or had a family member or a friend who went through similar, and they know what it feel like up to a certain level. So they themselves want better for society. So they could relate in a way, and that's really good.
I'm so glad you say that, because sometimes one of the things you hear about NGOs is that it's run on so much passion, and the person empties themselves into this. So I'm guessing that you have that background as that social worker to say, okay, well, yes, I need to refill my cup so that I'm able to help as well, and take care of yourself the way that you're supposed to. Now, you spoke about people reaching out to you for different things and how it is you go about your activities. So I want to know what is next on the table for the grouping. And we also see that we can email you at sportingandleisure52@yahoo.com.
Yes. Right now, currently, we have, as I said earlier, we have a sport training camp going on for young person for cricket and football between the ages 5 to 15 years old. That is located in Rio Claro, and that's on a Saturday from 8 a.m. We are also planning different activities right now. We are in session planning different activities, which we will be posting soon on our social media pages as well.
If someone wants to be a part of this group, they say, I like what they're doing, and I want to give some of my talent, I want to give some of my resources, be it whatever. Is there a need? Do you have a need for specific persons, specific competencies? How do people say, okay, well, yes, I'm able to match my talents to what it is you need to help the group go forward?
Okay, so persons can reach out via the email or social media or the contact number. So we don't have, no level of academic need, because at the end of the day, persons may be grassroots persons and they may have a passion for what we are doing. So it's not based on any academic records or anything like that. Once you have a passion and you go through the whole screening committee and we realize that you really have a passion, you could be a member as well too.
And with regard to looking at someone who may be saying, okay, well, I may not want to join the group, but I see a need in my neck of the woods, in my community, how would you advise them, or how would you take from your experience to help guide them a little bit in terms of them being the change that they want to see in the world? Okay,
so being the change, even though they may not want to be part of the organization, I would tell them to go forward, whatever their passion be, whatever they see as the change that they want to see in society, because it must be a personal drive that you have as well too, and an individual drive that you have, that what you want to see in society. You be the positive change that you want to see in whichever aspect that you want to see in society.
And in that final moment, is there anything about the group that you want to let us know? Any closing words that you have, Ms. Cooper? Once again, we also want to thank you for your time. So we're wrapping up the conversation. Closing words from you, thank you.
So I would like everyone to know, in life we may go through challenges, we may go through ups and downs, but something is not what happened to us, but it's how we react to what happened to us. And you may go through something what people may consider as bad in life, but always look for the positive out of the bad that you go through in life, out of the negative that you go through in life. Always find a way to look for the positive and give back to society based on something positive, because it's very rewarding at the end of the day. You get a self-fulfilling.
And we're grateful for that piece of fulfillment that you feel and that you're finding. So we really want to thank you, Currline Cooper, founder of the Rio Claro Sporting and Leisure Foundation, turning your sorrow into something positive, and also doing it in a manner that really inspires others. And we'll put that plug in again for the camp that's happening. It's the sport training camp. Is resuming, I think, on the 16th. And this is at the Guaya Road Recreation Ground in Rio Claro from 8 a.m., 5 to 15 years, both cricket and the football, really doing the things. And you can email if you want to ask a question or you want to offer your services, sportingandleisure52@yahoo.com. This has been In Depth with me, Dike Rostant, on behalf of the entire TTT News team. Thank you so much for joining us.